Okay, I'm going to start on the learning sponsors, but I don't have a new.
List.
If somebody can have
Yeah,
the new bulletin handy,
Yeah, three.
thank you. All right, I'll give it back. All right,
January
thank you.
3.
You got your coffee on it too. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a bonus.
Right. Okay, learning sponsors. A year of learning Sarah Alpert in memory of her husband, Arav Tzvi Lipa ben Hillel, Bella and David Adler. In memory of her father, Eliyahu ben Yosef Kohen. Friends of Hami Chaifetz, Chana Shoshana bat Yosef. Friends of Jack Prince, Yaakov Yitzchak ben Shmuel Dov. Friends of Sandy David, Shulamit bat Chaim Eliyahu. Friends of Judy Cohen, Yehudit Liba bat Moshe. Friends of Dr. Annette Safransky, Chana bat Ephraim Fischel. Gail and Leslie Kaplan, in memory of their parents, Mushka Shprinza bat Yosef Chaim Bechava, Hanan ben Moshe Eliezer Vechana, Pesha bat Shmuel Yitzchak Kalevi Vitzipora, Yisr ben Yoel Moshe Cohen Bechana. Friends of Linda Katz, Hinda bat Yoshua. Lee and Harvey Greenberg, in memory of their parents, Esther bat Eliezer, Yaakov Yosef ben Avraham Sarif, bat Baruch Yehuda, Betzalel ben Avraham Alevi. Friends of Rochelle Ebner, Rachel bat Moshe. Ike and Evelyn Blachor, in memory of his sister, Dr. Phyllis Pacheco, live Shabbat Isser. A month of learning by Ruvain and Susan Podolsky, in memory of his mother, Frail bat Shraga Feivel. A week of learning by Leila Bessler, in memory of her granddaughter, Nina Margalit bat Dov. Shirley Weinstein, in memory of her husband, Mordechai Ozer ben Yisrael Aharon. A day of learning by Henya and Shmuel Novik, in honor of Rabbi Dr. Avi Cooperberg and the Bikur Cholim Committee. Refuah Shleimah to Abe Krause, his neighbors on the fourth floor of Yarmouth A. Sharon and David Carpel, in memory of her brother Eliyahu Sholem ben Chaim Shmuel. And today is the 3rd of January. We do not have other individual days of learning. And the Neshamas have an Aliyah, Krank Rafia, Velti Shir Shema Tlech, Choben Israel, good Gebenstein.
Amen.
Okay. Mordecai, does that mean that you went over to the top of the next Talmud?
I don't know. I just
That's on the top of Yud Chet.
so it's 5 points.
No, it's a little more than 5 words. Okay. All right. I would like us to start this morning on Ted Zion Ahmed Bey's the very last one. My Tama de Rabbananda Amre, right? So we have actually starting Sanhedrin Gedola Haita. Okay? That's where we're going to pick up. The last end of that Talmud, where there was a discussion and a machloket, remember, as to whether there were 70 or 71 members of the Great Sanhedrin. The implication being, was Moshe Rabbeinu to be included, and okay, or was he, so to speak, in charge of, and therefore not included in the number? Okay? You could say that.
Say that it's Moshe.
Right? Well, that could be, but if you say that too, it could mean in place of too. So that, because in either case, what happens is that's going to be the question of the machloket. That's where we're going to pick up. Everybody with me, with us together? Got a place?
Where you started?
So it's very towards the very Ted Zion, last, next to the last line actually, Sanhedrin Gedola Haita. Okay?
Got it.
All right. My Talmud the Rabbanan. What's the reason with the rabbis? The Amrei Moshe al Gabehen. That Moshe was, okay, al here, as Michael pointed out recently, was that it could be beside, alongside, could be on, in other words, in charge of. Okay, so the word al here is, okay, is the question, a possible issue. Okay, Amar Kras is the pasuk. V'hityatzvu sham imcha. Okay? What does it mean that he should be stand with you there? Okay, on the loose translation. Imcha va'at bahadaihu. You should be counted with them, is one translation.
It was a voting member?
That's the question. That's the whole ikar of the question. Okay, so now we're on Yud Zion, top of the Amud. Okay? The Rabbi Yehuda, and what did Rabbi Yehuda say? Imcha. Okay? How did he understand the part of the pasuk? Right. Okay. Saying it v'hit yatzvu sham imcha mishum. Okay? In other words, acknowledging that the Shekhinah was with Moshe. Moshe was inside the Ohel. Okay? But the Shivim, the 70 Zikanim, that would be part of the initial the Great Sanhedrin, were not inside. Okay? They were outside the Ohel. Okay? That would be V'Rabbanan. Okay, depends on whose commentary you look at. Okay, V'Rabbanan and the rabbis. Okay, what did they do with it? Amar Kra. They wanted to cite a different pasuk, right? So, okay, all right, namely, okay, I'm trying to keep an eye both on my nose. V'nasu itchach b'masa ha'am. Okay, citing a different pasuk, right? So what is the point there? Was that remained? Okay, I'm sorry. That the writer is that they make it easier for you to bear the burden. Okay, itcha va'at bahadayu. Okay, where it says itcha with you, it means again you're counted with them. The Rabbi Yehuda itcha b'domin lach. Okay, his answer there was a bit different. Okay, that again, the idea was that there was similar to, but in other words, when it says similar to, in a sense like you, that they would have the same kind of appropriate lineage and be free of blemish, like Moshe was of a special lineage and free of blemish. So these other members of the Beit Din would be of that character. I'll use that phrase, okay? The Rabbanan and the rabbis. What about there? Okay? Right? Mevahakal me'alayich v'nes'ei itchach nafka. And they would derive, maybe the rabbis derived this idea of being of parallel character from a different pasuk. V'hakal me'alayich, v'hakel me'alayich, make it easier. V'nas'ei itach, and they would carry it along with you. In other words, the burden, nafka, they derive it from there. V'yalfeh sanhedre gedola misanhedre katana. In other words, since what they would say is that since the lesser Moshe appointed others to be in the lower Sanhedrins, and they had to have these kinds of character traits. So from that, you can learn that certainly those that are going to be in the great Sanhedrin must have those kinds of character traits as well. Okay? So that's the point. Okay? We go on now with this bright. Tanu Rabbanan, says the bright. Vayisharu shnei anashim b'machaneh. Okay? And it says, and there were two men, okay, that basically remained two men in the camp. Okay? Who are we referring to? Okay? Eldad and Medad. Okay? So we're going to get into the whole discussion as to what their status is, how Torah was referring to them and what they were doing. Okay? All right, so exactly, thank you. Always good to have a Baal Koreh or a former Baal Koreh in the group. All right? Mitnab'im b'toch hamachaneh. Thank you. All right? Yesh omrim. There are those who explain it that the two of them remained. What was happening? B'kalfei nishtayru. Okay? That what happens? That their lots, I'm going to say for the moment, remained in the box. Okay? In other words, we're going to see the Gemara is going to explain. The question was, how was Moshe going to determine how to get the number? Okay? So one, we're going to get into the Gemara in a moment. That will say that perhaps one method would be he would write names on lots, put it in a box, call, right? And,
Random selection.
okay, all right. Right, we're going to get to that specifically in a moment. Okay, all right. So, Bekal Fenishtari, that their particular lots, okay, were left in the box. Shebashah Shamarlo HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And now the Gemara is going to go into the story in detail. Okay? Shebashah Shamarlo HaKadosh Baruch Hu LeMoshe Esfale Shiv'im Ish Miziknei Yisrael. At the time when Kadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe to gather the 70 men from the elders of Israel. Amar Moshe Ketzad Aseh. How shall I do it? Evror Shisha Mikol Shevet V'Shevet. Were I to choose 6 from each tribe, 6 times 12 is 72. Exactly. Nimtzeu Shnayim Yeterim. That would mean 2 left over. Okay, if he was told to gather 7. Evror chamisha mikol shevet v'shevet. If I choose 5 from each tribe, that gives me 60, right? Nimtzeu asara chaserim. Then I would be 10 lacking. Okay? Evror shisha mishevet zeh v'chamisha mishevet zeh. If I choose 6 from some just 10 tribes and 5 from 2 tribes, okay? Okay, what happens then? All right. Hareini matil kin'ah ben hashvatim. That's going to cause a lot of jealousy among the tribes.
Sounds like Congress.
Okay. Ma'asa, what did therefore Moshe Rabbeinu do? Berer shisha shisha. Okay, he chose 6 from each tribe. Vehevi shivim mushnayim pitakim. And therefore he had 72 lots. Okay? Al shivim, on 70 of them, katav zakein. So he didn't write their name. Instead, he wrote the term, okay, to be given that what their role would be, okay, to be an elder, okay, or a sage, right? Ushnayim hiniach chalak, and 2 of them he left blank, okay, and we keep going on. Bilalan, he mixed them all up, okay, v'natnan bekalfei, and he put them in a box, okay. Amar lahem, and he said to them, Bo umalu v'talu, okay, pitkechem, kol mi she'ala biyado zakein. Okay, come forward and pull out the lot. Okay, and if you get, you're going to either have one with the word zakein on it or a blank. Okay, all right. Amar kvar kidshcha shamayim. Okay, those that had zakein written on it, it would be as if it was by divine choice that they're the ones who got it, right? All right, so therefore, kvar kidshcha shamayim. Okay, misha Allah biado chalak. Okay, so in other words, I'm sorry, let me reread that. Talu pitkechem, kol misha Allah biado zakein. All those who had zakein written on their lot, amar kvar kadshacha shamayim. That the shamayim Hashem has sanctified you. Okay, misha Allah biado chalak. One whoever would come up with the blank. Okay. Amar, okay, not necessarily. Hamakom lo chafetz b'cha, okay, which is a little bit different language, problematic language.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, hold on a second. If you're using Art Scroll, refer to Art Scroll 17A, note number 7, okay, that you didn't draw it, okay? Okay, because what happens, it wasn't really an act of rejection per se, okay? Because what happened was that Eldad and Medad did not go initially to the gathering to draw because they were afraid that they would be rejected. Okay? So that's one explanation. So they didn't even show up to the drawing. Okay? Okay? Which, in a sense, we're going to, I don't know if I would phrase it as a fuss, but okay, but it does indicate that they were sensitive to the issue and that they are going to be rewarded. That's why I didn't want to use the word sensitive. Oh, well, you might use that term, I didn't. Okay, but they would be rewarded because ultimately they would be.
They were not either as old or as wise in their own judgment, and they were afraid that they'd be picked, and two more qualified people would be
All right,
rejected.
I didn't.
Because it would be a pure
That's a
lie.
nice
Well,
positive.
that's a little. That's a little stretch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Levium, if we say they were Levium, that means,
We don't know.
okay, we're going to find out they were Levium, and the problem then exists. Then, if they were among the Levium were among the 12 tribes, then we have two tribes that are in our trouble, and that is Menashe and Ephraim. What happens with them? Because they're going to have to somehow work it out.
They're called Yosef for this purpose.
Well,
Whenever Levi is counted,
you're right, but will they be there? Will there be 6 from Ephraim and 6 from
the
Menashe?
Gemara does.
there
No.
are 6. Then there's only one. Then Ephraim and Menashe are called Yosef.
I understand. Which
All right.
is going to provide the
Well, the Gemara doesn't go into that. Either one of them. Okay. All right. Let's follow the Gemara and not go beyond the Gemara. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, in other words, right? Ani ma'aselacha. Okay. So, but Moshe indicates what is it that I can do for those that did not get picked.
Very sensitive.
Okay. A sensitivity. All right. So but that's only one possible explanation why Eldad and Medad, okay, because they chose not to go for whatever, because they were hesitant that they would be rejected. They felt that they weren't up to the task, okay, appropriate for the task. Kiyotse b'davar to Omer. In a similar manner, you might then choose another example where Moshe had a dilemma as to how to carry something out, and in a moment we're going to see the Gemara try to make a comparison. That's where we're going to get.
So the 70 people that did choose, they all had Zokain on it?
Yeah.
Correct.
That was an ace.
Everybody that picked got a Zokain.
Right.
And the two left behind were miraculously the blind.
Otherwise,
So that's one explanation. The other is that there were two left in there that said Zakain.
but then 2 of the people that chose shouldn't be on the list.
But you wouldn't embarrass them, right?
They're not that. Hashem didn't want
True.
it.
Okay. What can I tell? I'm only learning the Gemara.
Just imagine.
All right, gentlemen, let's go on. Right. Yes, I hear you. One second. On this side. Okay, Zev in a second. Right. Okay. That's true. I'm going to see that. Zev, a question. Does that mean that nobody knew what the other two were? Okay. There's another art scroll note that indicates that people weren't aware who those were. Right? Okay. All right. So what happens? Kiyotse b'davar tomer. In a similar manner, we might raise the following example. Okay? V'lekachta chameshet shkalim legulgole. Okay, this was the replacement. This was the placement of the Levi'im instead of the firstborn. Now, again, Art Scroll is going to tell. I'm going to cite a note in Art Scroll in a moment. Okay, Amar Moshe, says Moshe, Ketzad Aseh lehem Yisrael. Again, how am I about to go through another selection process? I'll use that phrase, unfortunately. Okay, Im Omer Lo Ten Li Pidyoncha. If I say, okay, give me and we'll arrange for your redemption, let's say, and then you go. V'amarli Kvar Paradani. Somebody could come to me and tell me, Kvar Padani Ben Levi, that I've already been redeemed. In other words, by a Levi, I've already been replaced, so to speak. Ma'asa, what did he do? Hevi esrim ushnayim alafim pitakim. Okay. Now, Art Scroll another Art Scroll note, that there were 22,000 Levi'im, 22,273 firstborn, and it was the extra 273 that had to pay the 5 shkol. Okay? Now, okay, so what happens? So therefore Moshe took how many? Right? 273. Okay, Yisrimu Shnayim Alafim, Pitakim, right? He took that many lots. The Katav Alehen Ben Levi. Okay, and wrote on the lot Ben Levi. Al Shlosha V'Shiv'im Umatayim. And the 273, Katav Alehem Chamisha Shkalim. On those others, there was something now written. I owe you 5 shekels, right? Bilalan v'natnan b'kalfei. Mixed them up, put them in a box. Amar lehen, okay, talu p'tkechem mish, okay, take your lotteries, your things there. Mish, right? Misha Allah, that's why they call it the store Big Lot, right? Misha Allah b'yado Ben Levi. Okay, whoever had a lot ticket, so to speak, was written Ben Levi. Amarlo Far P'da'acha Ben Levi. You therefore now considered redeemed in place of a Levi, or by a Levi. Misha Allah biyado chamisha shkalim, the one who got the 5 shekel IOU. Amarlo Tain Pidyancha V'tzei. Make your payment of the money, and that way you'll be redeeming, okay, the case, right? All right, let's go on now as we come back. So we've talked about Eldad and Medad. We only had one suggestion so far. We may have more discussions on that topic as we continue. Rabbi Shimon Omer, b'machaneh nishtairu, they remained in the machaneh, according to the text in the Torah. B'sha'ah she'amar lo Kadosh Baruch Hu Moshe. At the time that the Kadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Esfali shivim ish, gather the 70 people, Amru Eldad Umedad. Okay, so now we're going to get a second explanation. What did they say? Ein anu re'uyim lo tagadola. Here in this second explanation, okay, we now said that they are saying we're not fit to be elders, leaders. Okay, that's the second explanation. So here, right, again, all right, this tells us there's a difference, okay, here in this case between the earlier explanation of Tanakama and this later explanation that's presented, okay, by Rabbi Shimon. Okay, that's the point I wanted to make. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, Ho'il umi'atatchem atzmechem, since you denigrated yourselves, Hareini Mosif Gedola al Gedulatchem. I am going to, now I'll use the word Zechut, okay? Now I will reward you in a sense for that situation. Ma gedula hosif lahem. What then was the extra merit, the zechut that the Hashem gave to them? Namely, Shehanaviim, namely the other 70 elders. Okay? Kulan nitnaba'u upasku. They prophesied for a short period of time and then stopped.
All prophets through history, not the seven.
No, no,
It's only these three.
it's the 70. Okay? Okay? Go back and look at Art Scroll. Okay? Vehem nitnab'u velo pasku. They prophesied and they weren't suddenly stopped. Umanavu anitnab'u. What was the prophecy they recited? And now we're going to get into another whole discussion here. Namely, what were they saying? Amru. Okay, Moshe mate. Moshe is going ultimately to die. Okay, V'Yoshua machnis et Yisrael haaretz. And it will be Joshua who will lead the people into the land. Okay, what happens? Abba, okay, in this case, I just got to check. Okay, so that's one suggested nivu'ah on the part of Eldad and Medad. We're going to get other suggestions now. Okay, Abba Chanin Omer, he says, Mishum Rabbi Eliezer, in a different one, Al Iske Slav. They were giving a prophecy about the quails that were going to come. The people complain about the food, right? And Hashem arranges for the quails. Well, the story of Eldad and Medad comes just immediately before the entrance of the quails, and therefore that's his suggestion, is what they talked about. Okay? Alei Slav, Alei Slav. They were saying the birds, the quails will be coming, the birds will be coming, quails will be coming. Third possible explanation of what their prophecy was. Rav Nachman Amar al Iske Gog Umagog Hayub Nabi. Namely, they were talking about the end of the world, okay, and the Gog and Magog confrontation. Shne'amar Ko Amar Hashem Elokim Ha'atahu Asher Dibarti Biyamim Kadmonim Biyad Avdei Nevi'ei Yisrael. Okay. Nevi'im Biyamim Hahem. Okay. Right. Shanim Lahaviotach Alehem Vagomer. Okay. So that's referring to the same, that they were prophesying about a topic that later, like other prophets that will come later, also talk about the Gog and Magog, end of the world, the final redemption, etc., etc. Okay? Al Tikresh Shanim, don't read it as Shanim years, Ella Shnayim, the two. Ve'ezohein, Shnayim Nevi'im, the two prophets. Shenitnabu Beperek Achad, okay, Nevu'ah Achad. Okay, that they said at one time, one prophecy. Okay? Oi, Have Omer Eldad Umedad. Okay, and who would these be? That would be Eldad and Medad. Okay, so Amar Mar, Kol Hanvi'im, Kulam Nitnabu Upasku, all of the prophets prophesied and stopped. Vehein Nitnabu Velo Pasku. And they prophesied and did not stop. Minalan the pasku. How do we know that they stopped? If it's because it's written vayitnabu velo yosifu, okay, that they did not continue. Is that what it is? Elameata. We have, however, another example that there was something that prophesied, namely, Kol Gadol Velo Yosif, Hachanami de Lo Osifu.
Refers to the noise at
That was the noise of the Har Sinai. It could also, another perush was that there was a bat kol that would continue to come down from heaven and indicate certain things. Okay, so what happens? Ella de Lo Pasak, when we say who? That did not stop. Ela hacha k'tiv vayitnab'u. But here it's written, and they continued to prophesy. Hatam k'tiv mitnab'im. So there, on the one hand, it was in the past tense. Here it's in the present tense. Okay? Adayin mitnab'im v'hokim. That they prophesied and continued. Okay? Now, here we're going to get Bishlema Lamanda Amar. Now, we've just had three different suggestions as to what were the prophecies of Eldad and Medad. Okay? The Gemara is now going to bring up the issue. Okay? Didn't Joshua react to that situation and make a statement to Moshe that he should act in a certain way towards these two individuals? Okay? And that's where we have a little problem of translation. Okay? Bishlema Lamanda Amar. So the Gemara says, what happens? According to the first suggestion of the Nevuah of Eldad and Medad, says the Gemara, Bishlema Lamanda Amar Moshe mate. Okay, the fact that they said Moshe is going to die. Hainu dichtiv. That's why we see written that Joshua's response to Moshe into that situation was Adoni Moshe Kilaem. Okay? I found just two different translations for Kilaem. Okay, Art Scroll gave one suggestion that Moshe should destroy them. Koren Steinsaltz gave a different explanation that they should say that he should imprison them. Okay, I'm going to ask Avrami. What does Shrishinantam suggest? It does.
Saying the death of Moshe.
In other words, that they were like a student teaching before their Rav. That could also be a possibility. Okay, you're saying it doesn't detail that. Okay, thank you. I just figured if Ruvain, by the way, if right, Mordechai, when you speak to Ruvain, if you're going to learn with him today or tomorrow, whatever, okay, he's using the Art Scroll Hebrew. Not always. Not always. Just ask him to look at that up. Okay? It's just struck me that there's such a marked difference between the two English translations. Okay? I didn't even bother to look at what Cincino had. Okay? I know, but I wanted a good audience. Okay, they were up. Okay, but let's go on. Ella Lamanda Amar Hinachtarte. But regarding the other two suggested prophecies of Eldad and Medad, namely the example of the quails or the example of Gog and Magog, asks the Gemara, Maya Adoni Moshe Klaim. Why then would Joshua then raise the point and raise the question that Moshe should either destroy or imprison them? Okay? That's the Lav Orech Ara. Okay? So here we're going to see, as Mordechai was suggesting, okay, that the Lav Orech Ara, that it's not proper behavior. In other words, it's not the kavod. Okay? The Havale Ketalmid Hamoreh Halacha Lefnei Rabo. Okay? Because it's like a student teaching without the permission of his teacher. Okay? Bishlema Lamanda Marhinach Tarte Hainu Dichtiv Mitain. That's acceptable if we say that regarding those two suggested prophecies. Okay. All right. That's a lot. Hainu Dichtiv, that's why it's written Mitain. Who will give it? Ela Lamanda Mar Moshe mate. Okay. But according to that first Tanakhama's suggested prophecy, okay. Minach hava nechale. Okay, can we really say that be content with that kind of a response, so to speak? All right. Okay, what happens? Minach hava nechale. Okay, lo semuha kame. Okay, and we can't finish at that with that before you. My klaim. So therefore, how do we understand that? Amarle hatel alehem tzorchei tzibor. Moshe's answer was keep them busy with community activities. In other words, load them up with a lot of responsibilities. Vehein kalin me alehem, and they will be it'll be terminated on its own. Okay, let's go on. Okay, all right. Okay, minayin lahavi od shlosha. Okay, what do we mean when we say how is it that we need to bring on three additional judges? Okay, sof the ra'ah. Okay, so this ultimately is if it's a situation of something negative. Al pi shnayim lo mishkachad la. But, says the Gemara, but when we think about it, it's very difficult to follow what we've said as the rule is that to find somebody guilty, you have to have a majority of two. Okay? That's a problematic. I echad asar. Okay? Okay? If we have a situation, okay, of a court of 23, I echad asar mizakin. Okay, if you have a case where 11 of them say he's not guilty, ushneim asar mechayvin, and 12 say guilty, akati chadhu, then we still only have a majority of one. I asara mizakin. If we have a situation of 10 saying that the person is not guilty, I'll use that too. Ushlosha asar mechayvin, and 13 say the person is guilty. Tlata havu. Then we've got three. Okay. Amar Rabbi Abahu. Says Rabbi Abahu. I atamotse ele b'mosifin. That therefore you cannot talk about arranging for a majority of two to find guilt unless you add, continue to add. Right? So what happens? V'divrei hakol b'sanhadrei gedola v'aliba the Rabbi Yehuda the Amar Shivim. And therefore we must be talking about not a court of 23, but the great court of 70. Okay, and that has to be then based on the view of Rabbi Yehuda, who said that that number was 70. V'amar Rabbi Abahu, says Rabbi Abahu further, b'mosifin, when they add on, osin beit din shakul lechatchila. Okay, according to him, they make a even court. Okay, all right.
Happens is one
Okay.
guy says I can't.
Well, I'm going to get to that in a second. I just got to find my notes. Where a judge doesn't know, in other words, when he says I don't know what to state as pro or con, guilty or not guilty, they add two in his place as if he isn't present, able to vote. But he could, wait, but could still speak, okay, and be listened to. But the Gemara is going to challenge that and say, no, that's not going to be the case. So we'll get to that in a second, right? So what happens? Okay, all right, let me just find my place again. Okay. Right. Okay, so Pshita, that's obvious. Mahu de Tema, what are you then trying to tell us? Hai de Kamar, this is what he's saying. A neodea, if a judge says, I don't know. Command ite dame, it's like he's there. V'iyamar milta sham inale. And if he says something, we listen to him. Kamash malan. That's not the case, says the Gemara. The hai de Kamar a neodea. because the one who says, I don't know, in other words, he's not going to give a vote of guilty or innocent, kiman delite dami. It's like he's not really there. Ve'iyamar ta'ama lo shma'inun le. And if he says whatever reasoning, we don't listen to him. Amar Rav Kahana, says Rav Kahana, Sanhedre Shara'u Kulan Lechova. But where we have, according to Rav Kahana, a Sanhedrin where everyone votes for guilt, potrinoto. Okay, we exempt him. Okay, in other words, he's acquitted. Why? Because the attitude is that's
Can't be universal.
exactly.
They can't stay up all night and reconsider if they've all said there's nobody to argue on his behalf during reconsideration.
That would be one possible explanation. Okay. Or they may just okay. All right, let's go on. In any case, Potrinoto. My Tama, what's the reasoning? Kevan de Gamire, says the Gemara, giving a little different explanation. Once they've culminated, okay, in the making a decision, halanat din lema'avad le zechuta, okay, and usually we say that staying overnight would be for the discussion and further efforts to try to find a opportunity to find the person not guilty. Vahani tu lo chazule, and therefore they are not able to see that. There's no one who comes forward to present it. Okay? Amar Rabbi Yochanan, says Rabbi Yochanan, Ein moshivin v'sanhedria ele ba'alei koma. All right, so now we're getting a description of what is the kind of individuals that may be established on the court. Okay, the great court. Number one, ba'alei koma. Okay, maybe. All right. Number one, he has to be of a tall. Okay. By the way, just as a separate aside, there has been studies about American presidents, also in regards to certain physical characteristics as to what presidents are more respected, whether they're taller, shorter, things like that.
There's never been an election in which the shorter candidate.
Could be. All right, might be right. Uba'alei chachma, and of course they must have wisdom. Uba'alei mar'eh, they must be good looking. Uba'alei zikna, and they must be at a certain age. Okay, wait. And now here's the one we want to touch on. Uba'alei kshafim, and they must be aware of magic. Okay, voodoo, right? In other words, why is that the case? I believe if you've got Art Scroll 17A4 note number 37 is the one that suggests that this way they're aware of what. Well, that's what. Okay, in other words, they're aware of the concern about witchcraft, and that they can arrange and be sensitive to that possibility of going on. Okay? All right. V'yodim, okay? V'shiv'im lashon. And they know 70 languages. Okay? Shelo tehe Sanhedre shomat mipi hameturgaman. That the members of the Sanhedrin, okay, should not have to listen to an interpreter. Okay? Amar Rav Yehuda, says Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav, in the name of Rav. Ein moshivin b'Sanhedrin elami sheyodea l'taher tasheretz, okay, men haTorah. According to him, that you have to be able to argue and present difficult cases and present them in such a way to take something from one extreme to the other. Now, what happens? Amar Rav, says Rav, okay, he's going to say, I can do that. Anai Adon Va'atarehenu. I'm capable of doing that. And we'll go to the top of the next Amud. Okay. And this is what he's going to present a potential argument to show, okay, that what he can do. Umanachash. What about a snake? Shememit umarbeh tum'ah. That it both can cause death as well as transfer impurity. Okay.
Causing death and expands.
Okay. All right. Tahor. All right. Okay. Right. Omar betum tahor. Sheretz, a rodent, let's use that term for the moment, or another kind of a creature. She'eno memi. Okay, which cannot put necessarily somebody to death. Umar betuma. Okay, and conveys ritual impurity. A no din sheyetehe tahor. Okay, so he's basically attempting to present the kal v'chomer, right?
It's against what it says in the Torah.
Well, the point is, though, he's trying to present that if you can come up with an argument that's logical enough to go from one extreme to another. Velohi, but that's not the case, says the Gemara. That doesn't work. Mide dahava akutz. Why? Because you could have an example of a thorn, right? Ba'alma. A thorn could kill, okay? And yet, okay, the question is, okay, the question of whether or not it's going to convey tumor. Okay? Amar Rav Yehuda. This is Rav Yehuda. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav. Ko ir she'en ba shnayim ledaber. Any city. Okay, so now I'm going to refer to this may give the example that the court of 23 has to have the same criteria. Okay, because that would be a court of a city would have a court of 23. Okay, that doesn't have somebody who's able to speak among the 70 languages. Ve'echad l'shmoa, or to understand. Okay, or at least one to understand. Ein Moshivin Bab Sanhedrin. You don't put them on a court of 23. Ubebeitar Haviu Shlosha. And in the city of Beitar, they had 3. Ubeyavna Arba'ah. And in the city of Yavna, they had 4. So that seems to contradict that statement, okay, of Rav Yehuda and in the name of Rav. So what happens? Rabbi Eliezer, okay? For example, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yoshua, Rabbi Akiva. All right? Rabbi Yoshua, Rabbi Akiva, Shimon Hatemani, Dan Lifnehem Bakarka. And their students would sit on the ground and listen to them. Okay? Since they were now, the problem with a bright that's challenging. Meitive, Shlishit, okay, we said that they needed 3. Chachma, that they would have the appropriate wisdom. Revi'it, the 4th. And the Mala Himena. There is no Beit Din greater than that if they have 4 that are capable with all these characteristics. Okay? Who, namely referring to Rav, okay, here, the Amar, Hi Tana, his statement about 3 and then 4 was similar to that of the Tana that taught Shniya Chachma. You have to have 2 that have the wisdom or are valid. Okay? Shlishit, and a 3rd, Ein Lamala Himena. Then there's no greater court than that. So in other words, the implication seems to be that it doesn't have to be all the members of the Beit Din with that are so fluent in languages, but at least a number of them have to be multilingual.
And Mordechai is called Mordechai Bilsham because he spoke 70. It seems there were many others, so he should not have been given that title.
Who's that?
Mordechai.
Well, Mordechai, this is a riot to Rav because it was very unusual to have somebody that understood all the languages. So this is a riot to Rav.
Right, but there were
Could be.
If all of the various Sanhedrin spoke 70 languages, there'd be hundreds of people. And
Okay.
you wouldn't be able to speak some weird language. You couldn't speak Yiddish that Americans don't understand.
All right, let's go on, gentlemen. Okay, as we continue with the Gemara, Lemidin lefnei chachamim. Okay, so in other words, it was that they would be learning before the sages. Okay, I'm going to suggest that at the next part of the Gemara, okay, is pretty straightforward, so we should be able to move through it fairly straightforward. But I also want to point out that according to the text of the Gemara, we see that there is an effort here, and I'm going to use the term loosely, editorializing. And by that I mean we know that there are certain phrases used in the Gemara, okay, that we have to understand that phrase in a certain way. And it seems like here the Gemara is telling us when the Gemara uses this lashon, this is what we're talking about. Okay, so maybe editorializing is not the right word.
Decoding.
Okay, decoding might be another term. Okay, again, it comes back to the question of why is it here at this point in the Gemara? Okay, and Ravina and Rav Ashi, okay, and the Masorah, okay, in terms of that regard. Okay?
It's interesting that with this whole long chain, it does not say that Acherim refers to Meir.
True.
And that's like a standard understanding.
Yeah, that's true. It could, right. That's a good point. It may very well be that that could be one example why they didn't cite it. There could be others as well. Okay, let's go on. Levi, Marbe, Danin lifnei chachamim. Okay, so right. Okay, Shimon ben Azai, Shimon. So here we're getting a situation where it says regarding when it says who was making judgments before the sages. Shimon ben Azai, Shimon ben Zoma, V'Chanan HaMitzri, V'Chananya ben Achinai, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Matnei Chamisha. They said that there were 5 students that were learning there. Shimon, okay? Shimon, v'Shimon, Chanan v'Chananya. Okay, that's who they said. Now, going on. Rabotenu shebabavel, when we see the Gemara citing, so I'm only going to say this once so we can go through it. When we see the Gemara citing the phrase, then it's going to tell us who it is or what it refers to. Okay? Rabotenu sheba Bavel, the rabbis in Bavel, Rav Ushmuel, Rav and Shmuel. Rabotenu sheba Eretz Yisrael, rabbis in land of Israel, Rebbe Abba. Okay? Daine Gola, the judges of the diaspora, Karna. Daine de Eretz Yisrael, judges of Eretz Yisrael, Rabbi Ami v'Rabbi Asi. Okay? Daine de Pompadita, the judges of Pompadita, Rav Papa bar Shmuel. Daine de Naharda'a, the judges of Nahardea, Rav Ada bar Minyome. Sabe de Surah, the elders of Surah, Rav Huna v'Rav Chista. Sabe de Pompadita, the elders of Pompadita, Rav Yehuda v'Rav Ina. Okay? Charife de Pompadita, the sharp ones of Pompadita, Efa v'Avimi, B'nei Rechava, okay, those who are, okay, they are the sons of, when it's referring to Efa v'Avime, they are the sons of B'nei Rechava. Okay? Right? Amorei de Pompadita, the Amoras of Pompadita, Rava v'Rav Yosef. Emorei de Nahardai, the Amoras of Nahardea, Rav Chama, Nahar Bilai, okay, right. And when it's right, Nahar Balai Masnu, when the Nahar Balites teach, right? Rami Bar Barebi, okay. Amre Be Rav, when it says, they say from the academy of Rav Huna. Vahama Rav Huna, but wasn't it said regarding Rav Huna, Amre Be Rav, that he would say it in the name of the academy of Rav, which meant it wasn't him, namely Ella Rav Hamnuna, but rather they must be referring to Rav Hamnuna. Amre B'Ma'arava, when they say it in the west, Rabbi Yirmiyah. Shalchu Mitam, when they say they sent it from there, Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina. Machku Allah B'Ma'arava, when they said they mocked in the west. Okay? Rabbi Elazar. But what says the Gemara? Vaha Shalchu Mitam L'Divrei Rabbi Yossi. But there they sent from there to, that's the words of Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina. Ela Ephach, but rather I'm going to reverse it. Shalchu Mitam, when it says they sent from there, Rabbi Elazar. Machku Allah B'Ma'arava, and when they said they mocked it in the west, in other words, in Eretz Yisrael, Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina. Okay. But so now we're back to our.
It's a glossary.
Ideally, that's why I said it could very well be that there was a need to indicate certain terms. Okay? Okay.
Well, you can tell the level of authority of when they say something in Rob's yeshiva by knowing which Tanya or which Amoy.
Could be. Okay.
That would be good if we did that.
Right. Okay, the comment, all right, so now we come back to our topic at hand about the Sanhedrin. V'kama yehe ba'ir v'yehe ru'uya l'Sanhedrin, mea ve'esrim b'chule. Okay, that it said, that what's the number of people to merit a court? Mea ve'esrim, my avidatahu, 120. Why that number? Esrim u'shlosha, K23, Keneged Sanhedrin Katana, versus lesser Sanhedrin. Ushlosh Shurot Shel Esrim Ushlosha. And then in front of them you needed 3 rows of another 23. Hare Tishim Vatarti. That's what I just said. Okay? 3 rows of 23. All right? Hare Tishim Vatarte. That gives us 92. Okay? All right? Va'asara Batelin. Shall Beit Knesset, 10 guys who are available in the shul for a minyan. Okay, that's another 10. That gives us Hare Me Avotre, 102. Shnei Sofrim, 2 scribes. Ushnei Chazanim, and we're going to call these 2 officers of the court. Okay, Ushnei Ba'alei Dinin, okay, and 2 the litigants. Ushnei Edim, and 2 witnesses. Ushnei Zomamim, and 2 witnesses to challenge witnesses. Ushnei Zomamei Zomamin, and 2 witnesses to challenge the 2 witnesses that are challenging. Hare Me'ava Arbesar, that gives us 114. Vitanya, and it's taught, Kol Ir She'en Ba Asara Dvarim, and elsewhere we have a statement that says any city that doesn't have the following 10 things. Okay? Halalu Ein Talmid Chacham Rashai Ladur Batocha. A sage is not permitted to dwell in that city. What are we? Okay, our scroll lists it in the text. Okay, Beit Din, okay, Makin Va'onshin, a court that's capable of punishment, giving out punishments. V'kupa Shel Tzedakah, okay, and we say that is a charity organization. Nig Beit V'shnayim, that where it's collected by 2, u'mitchaleket b'shlosha, and divided up, distributed by Ubeit HaKnesset, and a synagogue. Ubeit HaMerchatz, and a bathhouse. Ubeit HaKnesset, and a synagogue, right? Rofei, a doctor. Ve'uman, a bloodletter. Okay, ve'lavlar, a scribe. And some say v'tabach, a butcher. Okay, umilamei tinakot, and a person who teaches the children. Mishum Rabbi Akiva. All of this was according to Rabbi Akiva, who also said, Amru, they said, Af mine pira. And there also should be varieties of fruit, namely a grocery.
So in any
Okay.
event,
Okay, 1 second, please. Okay, mipnei shemine pera meirin et ha'enayim. Because
doctors,
eating the fruit is going to...
teachers, one person. You have the five garbage.
No.
Plus you kollel,
No.
the doctor is also the butcher.
No,
And
no,
that's how you get the six
no.
leftovers.
no, I'm sorry. That's not shot that I found. Okay, that's not the shot that Artscroll gives. Okay, because having fruit is going to enrich oneself, and we're going to stop right there. All right? Rabbi Nehemiah Omer, you want me to finish the parak? I'll go real quick then. Rabbi Nehemiah says as follows, Tanya was taught, Rabbi Omer says, Rabbi, how many people do you need? Matayim v'shivim v'sheva. Okay? That you need a population of 277. Right? Vahatanya, aren't we taught? Rabbi Omer says, elsewhere, Matayim shivim v'shmona. Elsewhere he says 278. Lo kasha, that's not a problem. Ha Rabbi Yehuda, ha Rabbanan. One is according to Rabbi Yehuda, the other is according to Rabbanan. Tanu Rabbanan, a new Braita. V'samta alehem sarei alafim, sarei me'ot, sarei chamishim, v'sarei asarot. Okay, the Braita is citing the pasuk, okay, that gives the following number of officers or rulers among this number, that number, so on and so forth. Sarei alafim, sheish me'ot. So you'd have officers for 1,000, then you'd get 600. Sarei me'ot, okay, officers for hundreds, sheishet alafim, you'd get 6,000. Sarei chamishim, officers for groups of 50, shnaim asar elef, okay, then you'd get, right, 200,000. Okay, Sarei asarot, officers for 10, Sheishet ribo, 6,000. Nimtzeu dinei Yisrael, shivat ribo, ushmonat alafim v'sheish me'ot. Okay, Hadran alach dinei mamonim.
Shabbos.
Shabbos, everybody.
After our discussion,
First of all, Rashi does,
I know you.
that they were.
I'm not sure if
You need a grocer to have
I
it.
got
Maybe in fact they
text
were
message from him. He wanted to know what we covered yesterday. So I don't know if he's trying to keep up or if he's thinking of. That's what my feeling. That's what my feeling is.
Not right yet.
What? It's not right yet. That's what my feeling. Ted, the gentleman sitting next to you, not Yisrael Hoffman, the other gentleman. That's your son, right? I knew I recognized him, but I just didn't remember. I didn't remember from where. Good job.
No, that's sort of,
So you have it
not
both
at the same
ways.
time. At the same time, you can't have.
But it, if Sears Rabbi Green, it appears that there were not 70 languages in every one. Because otherwise, in the Kurdish, when there's all this hatred within Father, they would not have been able to talk secretly because everybody spoke everything.
Is to be a member of the education committee.
What they have to do first?
What you have to do is occasionally come to a meeting and make suggestions as to programs and activities in the show.
Okay,
All right?
good. Go ahead.
All right. All right. We'll talk some more about it.
Okay, very good. And good job. Thank you very much.
Let's go, Mordecai Mason. I'll tell you, you Israel, my boy, are really something. Hey, I'm a color as well, so when the shield comes, either way.
Yeah?
By the way, I'm not a fan of about color. I'm about color.
Good. Good.
Okay?
Absolutely.
And I'm hoping for investment in mine. I mean, if we're waiting for 70 years, and
That's why all the hospitals are
Okay.
named Mount Sinai.
Right. Very good.
That's where it comes from.
Got it.
We're going back to Yisro and the Sefer Yisro. That's before Kabbalah Satorah. So there,
Good job.
they don't want everyone to be cured, but earlier,
Yeah.
the reason why they may come all the time.
Mhm. You know, if he wants to, I'm going to have to challenge him. I don't mind some of his contributions, but at least don't just, you want to be somebody else, anybody else, if anybody else has a question or comment. Good morning.
What? That I would find see me and say, oh, good.
Yeah, but you're gonna come to a dermatologist as well? I'll let him do the nose surgery on you rather than on me. Yeah. That's where I'm headed right now. Hmm?
You don't want to be that.
Yeah? As a nurse practitioner? Very nice. Yeah. But they thought it was Divrei Musha to somebody. Everybody have a good Shabbos.
Maybe you have to be patient. You're not the only one. You see other people are paying. You're not the only one.
$150.
It's your deductible for your Medicare.
If it's for Medicaid, what do I have to do?
Because Medicare pays us and you have to pay us for the reimbursed any part of it. Otherwise you're gonna get a very hefty bill. You didn't want to repeat, right?
Yes,
Yes, you can.
I have a little reading material with me
Oh, good.
because I've been through it more than once.
Not your first review.
Hmm. Do you have any idea how That's it.
On the right side, yes.
Okay, so I know that when I made the appointment, it said one takes 2 weeks to heal, before stitches can be removed, and one takes 1 week. And my next appointment is the 17th. For again, another Mohs surgery. So,
I think they're both the same. One's on the scalp and then
Right.
one's on the temple. So you can ask him how many days is each, but I'm not quite sure which
Okay.
one's which, yeah.
because at least that's what I was told initially, so I thought if he was going to do the one that required the 2 weeks, that then when I come in on the 17th, he would be able to remove the stitches
Mhm.
and do the Mohs at the same.
Okay, you can see where.
Finished them? Right. Okay, so I know I've got two spots.
Right, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
right.
When I called them,
Uh-huh.
I believe the exception
Yeah, yeah.
said one of them requires 2 weeks before you can remove it, and one requires 1 week.
Yeah, yeah, yes,
Right.
exactly. One was like 10 days. Yeah.
Okay.
You're probably.
So, no,
Oh.
no, it's not a question. It's
Okay.
a question of my next appointment is
Okay.
the 7th.
Oh,
Would it be better
so
to
let's do the one, yeah, let's do the one that requires more time.
more
Yeah,
time now,
exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And then when I come
Yeah.
on the
We'll
17th,
do the
you'll
stitches
be
at the
able
same
to
time.
stitch it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm, exactly.
Okay, all right. Okay, I just
Could
want
we
to.
change it to the scale?
Okay.
That's absolutely right. Yeah.
Glad
That makes a
homework.
lot of sense.
Okay,
Have you been?
okay.
Happy New Year.
You too. That's the one, that's what I
That's the one that
figured.
requires-
That, I thought you had once told me. I wasn't,
Yeah,
I
that's
wasn't
absolutely
surprised.
right.
That's just from a Jewish point of view, you should know that that's precisely the point where the head phylacteries
Is that right?
sit
Interesting.
on a person's,
Right.
on a man's
Huh.
head.
Phylactery.
Right. Well, that's the English word.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Because it says in the Bible,
Uh-huh.
and there shall be a sign upon your head,
Right.
between your eyes,
Right.
and on your arm. So
Interesting.
they asked the question, well,
Huh.
if that's the case,
Right.
shouldn't you wear it right there? And they said, no, it's when it's above your head, on your,
Right.
between your eyes. It means that's the measure,
Right.
but it should be at the normal hair level.
The ear level.
Right. So
Interesting.
that's
Right, right, right. Very interesting. Huh.
so that's why.
Yeah. So the sign is, what's the significance of the sign on the shoulder?
Okay. Well, the idea is that inside
Right.
the phylacteries
Uh-huh.
are the famous brand, the Schmeier.
Right. Right. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And this way is daily reminder
I see.
for you,
Right.
because you put it on
Sure.
only weekdays.
Right.
Okay. And therefore, when the one on the arm is to remind you, the one on the head is to remind your neighbor.
The neighbor. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Wow. Very cool.
Say it, the deal. So it's good thing you take pictures in advance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you
The
know.
top of the jaw. Okay.
Mhm.
How's it sound?
Everybody is good. We have our youngest son with his two boys came
Uh-huh.
down from New York.
Right.
And,
Nice. Uh-huh.
and particularly nice in that they came
Uh-huh.
was that they had school vacation,
Right.
you know, over the Christmas holiday.
Right.
And so the oldest son of our youngest son came down, and our oldest son who lives here in Boca
Uh-huh.
with his as a youngest son.
Right.
And the two boys are born within 7-8 months of each other.
Oh, so they're very close to you.
Yeah, so they're very close.
Right.
So they always get a chance
Uh-huh.
to see each other.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
They get along very
they
well.
get along wonderful. As they look forward to
They're the playmate, cousin
Yeah.
play.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna take this to the
Right.
for
Okay.
days too.
Yeah. Uh, the book is glad I've been through this process
You
before.
have been.
Listen, this time there was only two. I'm lucky. One time I came back and I had like five.
My gosh, that's not good. All right, we'll see you soon. Are you comfortable like this? You want me to sit you up a little?
If you can, just a little bit.
A leg, right? Some
Okay, that,
better?
is there a way to push
The headrest?
the forward a little bit?
Lean back. Let me see how much.
I guess,
Maybe I could move it up a little. Go ahead, lean back. See how far back. Yeah, that's the best way to
okay, yeah, I think I need a little more forward.
It won't go forward. I'll have to sit you up to get it forward.
Oh, okay. Okay. Uh-huh. Mm. Oh, but no more? Wait a minute.
Wasn't too bad?
No, really, that wasn't bad. Plus, I brought work to do. And now I can, oh, no,
When you come prepared, you faster.
yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
I'm just gonna take a picture of it. all right?
Yeah.
We're gonna keep it on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
Yeah, they got me there.
Uh,
That's fine on you.
probably is to make sure that
It's not too big.
that's good.
You don't seem to think it.
Well, I'm just surprised because they were from the other, from the initial couple places, there was a lot of it. Oh, no, it's not very big. Okay.
That's also it's the numbing probably still. Will be in just a moment.
Okay. Thank you. Okay? The young lady came in and told me that it went on the first cut. Yes. And we wouldn't have to cut anymore. Right. And in the meantime, I got some of the work done. No, I'm having been through it before. Right, yeah. I know there's, I know there's the waiting and everything.
Yeah, I do the same thing when I have to wait. I bring work to do. But it makes the time pass real quick.
I brought a novel to read.
Right.
So,
Everything in Israel work.
Netanyahu had prostate cancer.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So that was major.
Sure.
And apparently, in the Gaza, the Hamas recruited a number of young men. So we sending more troops back into there again.
Right.
They're trying to come back to make some sort of an agreement on the release of the hostage. So,
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Syria?
on Syria, I have a gentleman that I was speaking with this past week, who for a number of years professionally worked at the Pentagon as an advisor on Middle Eastern affairs. And so when I asked him how many people asked about Syria, he said everybody. He said, but there are 2 or 3 things he said that you need to look at. Number one is in terms of the role of Turkey involved in this situation. Okay, they supported them, they gave them the weapons, they gave them the intelligence, everything. Okay, but it was Erdogan's plan or desire to be able to get them ultimately as a proxy, as an ally against the Kurds.
Right.
Okay, but they've now informed Erdogan, no, now that we've got the country and the government that we're putting together, we can't go out and continue fighting right away. We've got to put together our, establish our own situation.
Right.
So what have they've been reaching out to Western countries, including Israel, see if they can establish themselves as a viable government. And keep indicating that the only minority that has anything to fear from them is the minority that's formerly been identified as the group associated with the Assad. So
This sounds fairly positive, doesn't it?
Right.
I
Right.
think so, right? I mean,
Remains to be seen,
Yeah.
but the point is, it's certainly, so the winner there is, in a way, Turkey.
mhm,
The losers are certainly Iran
Right,
and
which is
certainly
good, right?
Russia.
Right.
So that's item number one. Okay, number two, he indicated, people haven't heard, but Russia has moved some of it, whatever material it could get out of there in time,
Uh-huh.
to Libya.
So Libya,
So the question is,
Right.
to what degree has Russia really lost its influence
in the region.
in the region?
Interesting.
So that remains to be seen.
Right.
And his third point is, the question is, will Israel or will Trump, as president of the United States, what will they do in regards to Iran
Mhm,
in the once he becomes seriously
Right.
becomes
Right.
because
Sure.
nobody wants Iran to
Yeah.
have a nuclear weapon.
Of course.
So those were
It'll
the,
be an interesting time, I guess.
yeah, maybe I'll have a further report.
Absolutely.
I'll see you the next
God bless you, my friend.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year, all right?
Have a
Be
good
well.
year.
Take care.
Starting or I need a picture.
Yeah.
I'm putting a dressing on it.
Alright,
Leave this on till tomorrow. When
okay,
you shower tomorrow, remove this before you go in the shower.
yeah,
Because this is like scalp. And it's a little different from the rest of the body. When you go in the shower, lather up with the shampoo,
yeah.
clean the area twice in the shower, and let the water run on it. So you get all the dried blood off. The bacteria loves to eat blood on the scalp.
Oh, yeah.
Next day, same thing. You could put some antibiotic, leave it open. You don't need to put a band-aid on it.
Okay.
Next day, same thing, lather up gently, but like kind of wash out the
Mhm.
sutures twice in the shower. And then do that every day until you come back. 10 days for the suture removal, okay?
Uh-huh.
Are you coming back before?
No, I
No?
do, I think the 17th.
Oh, you're coming, that's right. So we'll take out the sutures then.
Yeah.
Just wash it.
Okay.
Put some antibiotic for the first 5 days. Oh, and then- Okay, you're all set. Have a nice rest of the week.
Thank you. My wife is going to say, don't do that hat. Do I need to wear it?
Bag. So
Okay, so I believe I have another appointment coming up on the 17th. And that's also at 10 o'clock. Today's was instead of. Right? Okay.
Thank you.